Now, the basics of using a phone to get good video are actually the same techniques necessary to get video with a camera. The first one is this. Hit record, put it in landscape. Yes, you see. Yes, I want my, yes I do. You see. When you're holding it like this is portrait mode. Portrait mode only really works for like TikTok and its predecessor, Vine. Right? That's it. It's the only one. It's manufactured for that. It's how they designed it. Everything else, every single other situation that you would run into, which you would take video and put it on anything, even just storing it for your own personal use, you want it in landscape. Now, if you're using this in a professional environment, or as an intern, or if you're working down in biomechanics with Dr. Bauer and you're going to take some video, you want it in landscape because it's probably going to end up on a computer, right? Landscape mode, landscape. Or what we're going to do, we're going to be putting it on YouTube. You know, there's a comment section underneath it. You have a description underneath it. Those sort of things. So you want that space. You want it in landscape, especially because your eyes are in landscape. Your eyeballs see this way, right? It's an oval. It's not this way. We don't really look up or down very much, do we? So we want this to be recorded in that mode, and all of our cameras, all of our digital cameras, record in this mode natively. They really, very few digital cameras are designed to be able to be turned sideways. So yes, landscape mode. That's number one to getting good video on a phone. Also, how much did this phone cost? This one cost me $1,000. How much did yours cost? Get two hands on there. Yeah, get two hands on it. Now that's going to help in general, because let's face it, we are dynamic beings, right? Our bones are basically rocks, long rocks that have a wood-like texture, held together with rubber bands. There's a Star Trek The Next Generation episode where they ran into silicon-based life forms that called humans ugly carbon bags of water. That's what we are, though. You're mostly made out of water. The structure is made out of a lot of carbon, and it's very stretchy and springy and bouncy. And you really have a hard time keeping still. And I am purposefully also walking around a lot right now to force you to have to move the camera to keep me in there, right? So, one of the issues in taking video and taking photographs in general is that you, the human, are a problem for this, the camera. So, you're holding it with both hands, that's good. But we need to take some of the energy of our bodies out of it. So the next thing you can do when you're using a camera is bring your elbows in. When you're out like this, you're tension, right? It makes you springy and bouncy. When you breathe in, it pulls up on your shoulders. Makes you do that. You want to bring your elbows in. There we go. Yeah. Elbows in. That's number 2. Getting good video on your phone. Those elbows in. 2 hands on there. Landscape mode, elbows in. Okay. Now that's a little better. You might already, just by looking at your screen, at the video you should be recording at this very moment, you should already see it be a little bit more stable. All right, that's good. Now here's the problem, of course. Subject matter rarely stands still for you. I'm pacing around like a panther. Okay, maybe not like a panther, but I'm pacing around because I'm also trying to force you to have to keep me in your reticle. But to get a nice smooth transition, a pan, if you will, on some subject that is moving, you're going to want to turn with your core muscles. This is very important because the short muscles in your body are dynamic, they're springy, they're bouncy, and that makes your camera move around a lot. We have all been trapped inside for the last couple of years, and it's already very common in our culture to just simply watch stuff, people making videos and putting them on the internet. And you know, and I know, just from the thumbnail of a video that you see, is this video going to move around so much that I'm going to throw up? Are they going to bounce around? Okay. 12-second video has lots of likes. The thumbnail is like, yeah, no, I'm not watching that because I don't need to replace my laptop, thanks. So what are you going to do? You're going to turn to the long muscles. We want long muscles because engaging those muscles allow you to have very nice, slow, fine control over it. So, I got my phone or camera, both hands are on it, elbows in. I'm going to turn with my core. I'm not going to move. I'm not going to move my arms. I'm not going to move my head. Right? I'm turning with my core. That's number 3. Turn with the core. Okay. Number 4. This helps out a lot when you're holding a camera. You're holding it. You don't want to lock your knees. Now, I know it's natural, all of you are probably doing it right now. You know, you've been doing it the whole time. You've been standing still, you thought, oh, I'll lock my knees. All I got to do is like follow around. No, you don't want to lock your knees. Because again, it's just like having your arms out, you're putting a lot of tension into your body. You're very springy, you bounce. So when you're using a camera, you don't want to lock your knees. If you can stay still, you want to be in horse stance. That's the one where your feet shoulder width apart, so you get good balance. You're going to bend your knees just ever so slightly and rock your body back a little bit. You want to put your weight straight down into your heels. You want that, because then you're taking out any bounciness you have. You're taking that out. You're putting your weight straight down. You got your both hands on there, in landscape. You're turning with your core, your elbows in, right? Now you can get some really nice, smooth motion. This also helps to keep the camera away from your face, because your breath will show up in the microphone. Even on digital camcorders, the microphones are always tuned to human voice levels. That hertz, that range of sound, because that's what we care the most about, what other people are saying. So doing this really helps you do it, gets you in a good position. You can move, turn with your core very nicely. You're not going to bounce unless you make yourself do it. All right. That's 4. Horse stance. Well, mostly just not locking your knees, honestly. Sometimes you might have to use a camera and move. Again, don't lock your knees. You need to move smoothly. Right? And having your knees just slightly bent all the time allows you to do that without having that energy transferred into the camera as much. Okay, that's number 4. The 5th thing is, how can we get rid of even more of the human? We want to take as much of our dynamic energy out of this as possible, because it really makes a problem for the camera. So, the way we can do that is by becoming a tripod. Right? Let's do that. So we can go horse stance, but if we can get to a wall, we can, or a doorway is even better. We can become a tripod. Right? Doorways are great because you can get into the doorway. You're going to become a tripod. You're going to get 3 points of contact. We want to take the energy of our body, our weight, out of the equation. So the only thing that's really being held is just the camera. If that's the only bit of energy that the camera would receive, just your arms. So I'm going to do that here. Here's my 3 points of contact. Shoulder into the door frame. Right foot into the door frame. Left foot into the other door frame. The tripod. Now my energy, all my weight's going into this. I'm not really holding myself up. Very easy. Much better than standing. I can still turn, and I can also do it like we were doing just a second ago. I can come over to a wall. I'll do it against the board. Okay. All right, 3 points. Shoulder blades are going to touch. Right foot's going to go back up against the wall. Left foot's going to go forward. Right? I'm taking my energy out of here. I'm letting this all of me bear into the objects. I can also do it with a desk. Go back to your desk real quick and do this. Become a tripod at your desk. Right? 3 points of contact. Elbow, elbow, sternum to the desk. All my body weight, you can probably do this sitting in the chair too, I think. But all my body weight is away from the camera. The camera is utterly unaffected. It is nice and dead stable right now. You should see that. Like just really great way to be able to like capture a lecture. If you have a professor who's cool with you taking video of the lecture, that's how you do it. Sit in your chair, sit on the floor, whatever's comfortable, but get elbow, elbow, sternum. You want to take all of you out of this. So when you breathe, it's not moving your arms. Right? That's that stability part of it. The last thing, I gotta turn it back on. 1 second. The last thing, okay, you can sit down. The last thing, remember the fourth thing is the whole like how to move your body, or stance, or something like that. The fifth thing, last thing, is center 75%. This is true for all photography, whether it be like digital camcorders or still photography. If you're using film or SD cards to record it, directly being uploaded to the web with your phone. All cameras have a lens that is shaped very similarly to your eye, which is why it's called a lens. It's shaped like a lentil. That's where we get the word lens, Latin. It's that little circular bead, you know? You know you have them on here. Maybe you can't quite see it so well there, but you will be able to see it very well on our digital cameras because it's much bigger. So you need to keep your subject in the center 75% of your viewing screen. In here, right? Chopping off 25% at the edges. You can see it there. I turned on the grid lines in my phone's settings. These do not show up in the recording. You should turn them on too. I have the 3x3, the 9 square, whatever it calls itself. If you have more than that, you should set that on. This really helps. It really, really does. The cameras that we're going to be using, the camcorders, they will have the same sort of settings. But I don't know if they'll always be on when you get them because they are shared by a couple of classes. I will disinfect the cameras before you touch them. Okay? I have all the supplies, everything necessary. So turning on the grid lines really helps because it helps you to keep that center bit where it actually sees. Turn it off. It helps to keep that center bit, the center 75%. And that, because everything outside of that, well, the lens bends. You know, it's a circular lens, so it bends it just like your eyeball does. The software on the phone, the software on the digital camera, the software on the computers that we're using, it tries to normalize that. It tries to unstretch those edges. It's never perfect, just like your brain. You don't actually see a flat image. You see two separate time asynchronous images coming from a circular lens. It's never quite right, but your brain does a lot of work to make it seem right. So those are our 5 things. Those 5 things that make us have good video on a phone or on a camera. I can stop recording.